What is going on, my lovely people? Of course, it is your girl Nette, and we are back with yet another video. So yes, I know things are different than what my videos usually look like, and for starters, my background, but that is because I moved. Also, the content of this video will be a little different than what I normally do, and that is because this video here is going to be a story time. So if you think you may like my story times, if you want me to do more, let me know, because I got plenty of stories. All right, you guys, so for starters, this video, well, this story time is about the worst date ever. And I mean, the worst. And I know I'm not the only one, and I know just about all of you have had the experience where you've kind of chilled and been around somebody, and the entire time you're thinking, this is the last time that we ever chill, that we ever do anything, period, because my brother, you got to go. So I guess it would be appropriate to kind of start off by letting you guys know how we met. So we met through him sliding in the DMs, right? I usually don't or wouldn't date anybody who messaged me through social media. I don't know why that's a thing for me. I guess because it's one of those things kind of like online dating, and I really don't care for online dating because you can get catfish, and then you never know what kind of crazy people are out here. I mean, you can meet crazy people face to face, but the chances of meeting them online, I feel like are a bit more broader than actually meeting them in person. That's just my personal opinion. But anyway, he messaged me on my DMs and of course spoke and introduced himself and told me how beautiful I was, and asked if we could get to know each other and if he could take me on a date, right? Okay, so the first date we went on was kind of nice. I felt like everything was appropriate. We actually went on a lunch date, so it was in the afternoon, which is, I feel, is appropriate for a first date. So we went out to a restaurant, we ate, and of course we talked. After that, you guys, we went to here in Greenville, I think it's called the Butterfly Garden, and we kind of walked around, went on the balcony or the deck, and sat there and talked for a little bit. Fast forward, we still were kind of communicating. Things were a little consistent, and to start off, he was a pretty nice guy. We actually eventually ended up visiting each other's house. So you guys, after things being a little consistent for a little bit, they eventually started to turn sour, and I did not necessarily understand why. I kind of took a mental note on it at first and never really said anything about it, but as time progressed, I eventually kind of asked about it. Nothing major, but I just wanted to know, you know, and let him know that I noticed that things were beginning to be a little distant. Of course, like most people say, I got XYZ going on. Okay, cool, you know what I'm saying? So fast forward on to the second date, which is and was the worst date. I guess he felt as if he got real comfortable. Really comfortable. Which isn't always a good thing. But the second date, we were supposed to have gone out to eat first, and then after we were supposed to go to the movies. So we were supposed to have went to, it's a restaurant downtown Greenville we were supposed to have gone to, which we were supposed to have gone to, I think, about 7:30, because the movie started about 9:30. For starters, this is strike one, was the fact that he was late, and he was well over an hour late. And let's just say this too. So I'm the type of person, whenever I get ready to go on a date, I like to be super cute. I like to have my hair done. I like to have my makeup done, like the whole works, all of it. So after he lets me know that he's on his way, and I'm looking at the time and I'm like, well, the movie started at 9:30. It's about 8 o'clock. Factor in the time that it takes you to get here. Factor in the time that you have to stop and pick me up. We have to get there, order the food. By the time we get the food, really don't have time to sit there and eat because the movie will be over in a minute. Oh, not over. The movie will be starting in a minute. So he gets there and I'm all dolled up. And once he gets there, he has on tennis shoes and a Nike suit. And I'm like, okay, so I have to kind of go and rearrange what I got on so I won't look like I'm just being like really, really extra out here and you being really, really simple out here. Okay, so then he asks if he can come inside and use the restroom before we go. All right, cool, go ahead. We leave back outside of my apartment to go to the car, and he's walking towards my car instead of his car. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he says, oh, we're not gonna go in your car. I was like, well, you were picking me up for the date. I thought we were gonna go in your car. And what he says next literally made my blood boil. He says, oh, well, we might as well just go in your car because I don't have that much gas in my car and I gotta drive to work to Jackson tomorrow. And I'm like, to me, that sounds like a personal problem. And you don't just walk to my car without asking or talking to me about that first. That was probably strike two. Let me add this. So when he said that we might as well go in my car because he needed his gas in his car, I was like, oh, so I don't need my gas in my car either? Which to me was very, very inconsiderate. At the time, him knowing that I had to stop working my full-time job to complete a 600-hour internship. So I didn't have the steady income. So I'm like, oh, so you want to run my gas and keep your gas. Okay, cool, got it. And after that, we don't have time to go to a restaurant, so we have to go to a drive-thru. Strike three. The point of he should have been not a strike one. But we have to go to a drive-thru restaurant to get something to eat before we go to the movies, right? We get the food and basically he's telling me that I can't order anything that's a certain amount because he says, oh, I'm balling on a budget right now. So just kind of be careful what you get. So I'm like, if you knew you didn't really have to take me on a date right now, why did you ask to take me out on a date in the first freaking place, right? Doesn't make sense to me. So we keep going and we go ahead and go to the date, and I'm kind of pissed off and aggravated because we got to kind of sit in the car and hurry up and throw the food back to get in the movies, to get the tickets to get seated on time before the movie actually starts. We get inside the movies, and the movie we were going to see, you had to show ID for because some of the scenes were pretty graphic. So the movie, I think, was called Ma. So we get to the counter, and because he opened the door and I walked in before he did, I went on up to the counter, waiting on him to get there. And so the lady asked, you know, what movie are you all going to see? And I said, well, we're going to see Ma. And she was like, how many tickets you need? 2 tickets. And I went ahead and said how many tickets we were getting and what movie we were seeing because I was right there. She looked directly at me and asked me, so I answered her. After that, he stands there when she says the total. He looking at me and I'm looking at him and I'm like, because I'm not paying for these movie tickets. And I guess he probably thought that too, because when when she asked me what movie we were going to see, she asked for ID, and so I reached in my purse to get my ID to show her my ID. And so after that, I guess he thought that I was going to pay for it next, but somebody told him wrong. And let me just say this, that I have absolutely no problem with treating a guy on a date, but this wasn't the situation. But I was aggravated from the point of him coming to the point that we got to the movies, even to leaving, I was kind of aggravated and mad with myself because I said, you know what, you should have never went on that date with him in the first place. You should just send him right on back home from which he came and just left it at that. But I will say that after that horrific date, I ain't contact that brother no more. He tried to reach out to me, but at that point, it was already dead. I just know that in the past, well, for the past couple of years, dating has literally sucked. And I don't know if it's like a generational thing or people wanting things to be handled or done out of convenience. But I am not that girl. And I will not allow anybody to treat me and have me at their convenience, because we are all queens. I am a queen, and you deserve to be treated, and I deserve to be treated much better than that. I hope that this story, just brought some laughter, or even some of y'all was able to kind of be like, I've been there before, I've experienced that. Like I said, this is different. If you like it, let me know. If you want me to tell another story about something, let me know. I'll let you later.